So now that we've covered some of the basic statistical functions that we can do within R, let's actually jump into visualizing some things. So again, we'll stick with looking at that MT-CARS data set just because we've already spent some time working with it and pretty easy and straightforward to play with. So I always like to start by showing the real simplistic nature of how easily we can get a plot or a visualization into R. So I simply start by typing the word plot. This is an embedded function, okay, within R. So it's important to note that this particular one doesn't require a library or anything like that. Okay, so I'm going to say MT-CARS, and then I'm going to include the $sign, and then to the right of that $sign, I'm just making a call here to say what data set I want and what variable within that data set I want to look at. Okay, so both of my variables are going to come from the MT-CARS data set, and specifically I'm going to look at miles per gallon and DISP, which is cylinder displacement. Okay, so put both of those in, and I'm going to run that. And you'll notice over here on the right, it flips me to the plots tab. Okay, so with one line of code, we've managed to create a basic plot. Okay, now you'll notice that, again, very generic, right? So our X label is, not the best. Same thing with our Y label. Okay, we allowed R to actually use defaults to create, our X and Y axes. There's no color, there's no title, none of that stuff, right? So we'll continue to elaborate on that, but you can see one line of code, we can create our basic plot, okay? Now, if I wanted to work with this plot, and like we've said in class several times, you're typically not going into the boardroom to do a presentation and popping open Tableau and working with dashboards there. They're getting exported to your PowerPoint slide decks, right? So same thing here. I can just simply click the export command, and I can export this out as an image or a PDF or whatever I prefer. Okay. All right. So let's clean this up a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to use my same plot command, and now I'm going to say MT-CARS. I'm going to use my displacement field, and I'm also going to do my miles per gallon. And then now I want to actually provide something more than just the generic label for my X and Y axes. So I'm going to actually, that's a string, so it's actually going to be in quotes. Okay. And this will span more than one line, just so it's a little bit easier to actually follow it. I can run this out as far as I want to the right, but again, it's just one of those things a little easier if I do it across multiple lines. Okay, so the command to actually provide a chart title is the main command. Okay, so I'm going to say MPG compared with engine displacement. All right. So now, since I need to run more than one line of code at a time, I need to select all of that code and come up to my run command. So now you can see over here on the right, I've got clearly a far more robust chart. I've got a title. I've got my X and Y labels that, again, are a little more intuitive of what I'm trying to do here. Okay. Okay, one more parameter that I like to add in to the basic plot command is setting the label style. Okay, so that parameter is LAS. Okay, and I'm just going to show you here. I'm going to assign a style of 1, and I'm going to go ahead and run this. Okay, and you can see nothing changes because that was what was kind of best for the default here. But just so you know, you can a couple of ways you can do this. You could do the help command and actually see what these are, but You have four options for label style. So 0 is the default, and that keeps the text parallel to its axis. Okay. 1 does it horizontal, 2 is perpendicular to the axis, and 3 is vertical. Okay, so you could set that anywhere from a value of 0, 1, 2, and 3.